Alright, I'm gonna go over the patch notes before we get into other stuff today. So let's take a quick look. We know everything that's coming, but see if there's any surprises. Standard patch time. Alright, Vaulton's coming. Yep, we know that. We know all the details. 1415 for normal, 1445 for hard. All the standard stuff. We're getting Destroyer. Reworked Destroyer with less RNG. That's a very good class. A lot of stagger. Getting Descaluda at 1415. Very easy Guardian raid with relic accessories. Very nice. Challenge Guardians, which is once weekly. 3 Guardians you do and get a bunch of loot. It's like the main way you get powders for a tripod transfer. That's pretty good. Getting all the GVG stuff, both the GVE and the GVG, the PVE and the PvP stuff. All right, how about that? I should also add the thing where the winning guild gets to choose a day for like everyone, even people who uh aren't participating in the guild to do like the events, like the minigame events or whatever they are, or the PvP events, 1 day a week to get a bunch of like bloodstones. So it'll be good for everybody, even people who aren't doing organized GVG stuff. Added level 3 Salsa and Chaos Dungeons. Okay. Yep. These drop tier 4 tripods, I believe, or level 4 tripods starting at 1415. You can start to level those tripods all the way up to the maximum of level 5, with the plus 4 tripods. That'll be nice. We're having Salsa and Chaos Gate, which is a little bit better maps than the Punica one. 1415 to get in. That makes sense. 1415 Ghost Ship. Okay, that sounds fine. Hard mode for Chaos Line, 1415. That seems fine. We know that you can get the Omnium Star even from the normal mode, but the hard mode has its own separate shop. It drops a different currency. It drops like a purple version of the red currency that already exists. So, and it has a different shop. It is like a bunch of great honor leapstones, I think, and some books and some other good stuff. Added Thunderwing, this is Southford Field Boss, which is designed for 1460. Um, it should drop those yellow orbs you use to like upgrade the quality of your relic armor as well. That should drop off this boss, so it'll be a good one to be farming regularly. Um, we've got this chicken event. I don't really know a lot about it or what it'll give, but we will certainly see. Players turn into a chicken, battle a chicken boss to earn event coins. The more coins you can earn. An island that appears west of Tortoik. When you participate in co-op quests or join solo to help suppress unique uprising. In return, you'll be rewarded with report chests, uh, upgrading books, honing materials, fions, card packs, silver. So all the standard good stuff. Sounds good. Store updates. We're getting Near S wardrobe. We're getting casual outfits. Seems good for people who like this kind of cosmetics. They'll be available. I'm a fan of having like some shoes that aren't freaking high heels for like some of the classes. Oh, that's kind of cool. Um, yeah. Yep. It's a rotating shop. Let's see. Destroyer release bundle set. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. A lot of horns and such. Seems alright. We've got the Dawn Armor Collection. Well, we know what some of these look like. We have the Korean version, release version of a number of these. It's not great quality, but uh, uh, yeah. So we know, so we don't have, we only have some of the classes. Like we don't have any of the assassin ones, for instance. We don't have, uh, like the gender unlocked ones, which we know based on what they did with the Omen, they'll create them. So we'll see what those look like. But the yeah, the warrior ones look fine. The fighter ones look pretty decent. Like these looks. The hunter ones, the bow is pretty cool. I don't know. Well, I mean, skins are very subjective, but these look alright. This was summoner. This is arcana. So the bard one is the most relevant one in here. Um, but we don't know what Sork will look like. But yeah, yeah, it's nice to get some new skins. We'll see what they do for what they've made for the classes that aren't didn't naturally have skins in this collection. We will see. It looks like we are getting some stronghold structures, like a tent, like some beach stuff, tent, table, patio stuff, for people who enjoy decorating the stronghold. Some stuff that might actually fit on the beach part of the stronghold, which I don't know how much there is of yet. I really haven't seen any. Nice. Special package. Hmm. Um, Minor store updates such as adjusting item quantities in Mari's shop. New crystal bundles. Okay, just standard upkeep stuff. Getting stuff up to date as as people push higher eye level. Um, Better previewing buttons. That's cool. All right, into the good stuff. General updates and quality of life. Updated character customization. Added 5 hairstyles for each class category. That's great. That's great. Added 5 warrior pre-mades. Added human ears for the mage. Added a scroll bar for the hairstyles. Alright. All sounds good for recustomizing. Added integrated dungeon menu list. Right, available player. This allows player to enter those activities directly through the menu. Okay, this is the in-game menu where you can queue for anything from anywhere. Some other games have. Some people will really like it, I'm sure. So those of you looking forward to that, hit Alt Q. Okay. Um, Players can now check. Oh yeah, this is so on your escape menu. When you hit your escape menu and you go to change characters, when you go to that character select like submenu, you can now like set up to see who has done like what content. So like who has done their chaos dungeons for the day, how much rest does everybody have, who has what raids left, what dungeons left that they still have lockouts for, guardian raids, Unis tasks. Just makes managing all your characters much easier, much less of a headache. It's really freaking great. I'm really looking forward to that. It is amazing. All right. Added a favorite mount since someone's a random favorite mount that may be familiar with from other MMOs. That's nice. Mm, Proved like auto dismantling, better integrated presets. You can add tripod effects to the preset. Added an option to change your integrated presets at the entry point. Oh, they actually added this. Okay. So now you can auto switch. I didn't think they were going to add this in this update. This, I believe, is referring to when on the screen where you queue up for Guardian Raids, Chaos Dungeons, etc. There's now like a little drop down menu. You can select one of your presets and it'll always remember, and so it'll auto swap you when you enter. I believe that's what they're referring to, and they actually added this for us, which is relatively new in Korea. So I'm surprised we got it so quickly. Um, yeah, that's very cool. So for people who like to have like a different card set or different like if you're a support or even if you're a DPS and you want to have like different engravings to go do your chaos dungeon, you can have it automatically swap back and forth when you go into and out of the different things. That's pretty nice. Into I don't know if it swaps you back when you go out, but it definitely swaps you when you go in. Can designate which character can gain gold from specific activities. Okay, so this is now we can only earn gold on 6 characters per week, and it's right now it's the first 6 characters you enter on. With this update, you can just pick 6, and that means you can do stuff out of order. So if you have like a lower level alt, you want to go like do an abyss dungeon on or whatever, like a low level abyss dungeon, but you haven't done your other 6. Right now, that would lock that as one of the gold earning characters. But now you can just specify which ones you want to be gold earning, and then those you can go do stuff on other characters earlier in the week before you've gotten around to like the characters you wanted to get earn gold on, and it won't lock them as one of the gold earning characters. They won't earn gold, but it won't like lock them. So that's pretty nice. More add party finder stuff. If you request different party lobby, pop up will appear confirming you want to leave. Cool, 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 cool. Added pop-up, find UIs, select the gate teammates 4, you can enter. Oh, okay, yeah, so because you can do Legion Rails piecemeal, like you can do gate 1 and then you can leave and come back later in the week and do gate 2. This allows you to specify in Party Finder like which what you're entering on. So are we entering on gate 1, are we entering gate 2, etc. for ones that have more. Um, Oh, and they even added this. Okay, so rather than having the toy items, like the transformation items, be actual items that have to sit in your inventory, there's like a menu now, like the similar to the emote menu where you just store all your toys and transformations. It's like they did this in WoW many years ago, where the toys all used to be in your inventory, but then they added the toy menu. Same thing. Same thing. Very nice quality of life. Don't have to carry them around. Don't have to move them between bags. Just have access to them. Uh, Better auction house searching makes sense. If an item listed on the has less than 3 hours but more than 5 minutes left before it expires, you can relist the item. Ah, aha. So you can keep items like rolling on. Um, that's interesting. That's cool. So you can keep items listed. You don't have to wait for them to fully expire. Uh, that's interesting enough, I suppose. Nice, nice, nice for people who do a lot of auction house trading. I don't know if it'll really make that much of a difference, but it's definitely better than not having it, I suppose. You can check how many Fions you have directly in Auction House CI. Ah, that's pretty nice. Stronghold improvements. Oh, we get the auto farm already? Well, that's really soon. Okay, we're getting the auto farm. So the auto farm, you can use your life skill energy, and you can just rather than going to the farm and like picking up stuff, you just go to your farm and tell it, I want you to grow these plants, and then it'll grow, or rocks or whatever. You tell it a kind of resource, and it will like grow them for you, and then you go to the menu and you just so many hours later or whatever, I don't know exactly how long it takes them to grow, and then you press collect and it'll pick them all up for you. And so you can just like do like 2 buttons every day and expend a bunch of life skill energy in your farm. Crazy. Mastery skills. Yeah, yeah. So you don't get any of your special stuff when you do it this way. It is like, again, it's or well maybe I haven't talked about this, but it's extremely inefficient compared to just doing your life skills normally out in the world. But like if you don't have time, oh wow, that's annoying. 1 second. Let me turn on. Okay. My headset. Uh, Oh, my headset being my headset. Okay. I need to get a new headset. Anyway, if you don't have time, this is a great way to, I don't have time to, I don't have time to spend 15, 30 minutes doing life skills a day, then just go to your stronghold when you do like your dispatches, press a couple buttons, get some free resources you can craft stuff with. So, yeah, it's an alternative if you don't enjoy doing life skills. Structures can be successfully placed. You can now select and edit more than one structure at the same time by pressing Control. Inventory limits for certain stronghold structures. Okay, some minor stuff. New daily login. That's to be expected. Ah, we finally got the ring and earring update, so you can now equip 2 rings or earrings of the same name. No longer do you have to like janky like kind of butts around with that. That's amazing. We get front and back attack indicators. Excellent. Oh yes, very good. You have to set these in the settings, but they can put indicators on the boss so you can see their front and back attack angles much more easily. Which can help when bosses are spinning around a bunch. It also helps on certain bosses that aren't standard, like we eventually get some bosses that are like cubes and stuff. It's a little bit harder to tell where the head and the back of like a cube is. There are some in-game indicators, but it's like very much less clear, so this is great. Oh, we got the updated map, like where Frosthaven, there's like now a slide down on the right from where you spawn, so you can get to the right side of the map quickly. I don't know what the change to Foggy Ridge was, but we got the updated maps. Raid leaders chat messages are now highlighted. Okay, I guess that's useful. World map symbols for each dungeon checking function. You can look at the target. 4. Okay. When you collect tokens items, it will now show which inventory is being stored in. Okay. Okay. There's a South Vern vendor for these things, for the guild vendor. Where is it? Oh, maybe it hasn't been added. Maybe it gets added this update. Is it in Northvern? Is it in Vern Castle somewhere? I'll have to find that out. Added an item level limit 1415 to get gold rewards for Rahab Wells Abyssal Dungeon. Oh. Alright, so losing Areha gold at 1415. Alright, that's the way it works in Korea and Russia. In Japan, you don't lose Areha's well gold till you get Vicus, I think. So like, yeah. But looks like we're losing it. Same time Korea and Russia lose it. So, alright, it is what it is. Bolton gives a lot more gold than Oreha. So like you're trading up in gold sources. So you're not losing gold, you are gaining gold, but a little bit less, but that's fine. It's what it is. You're still gaining gold at the end of the day, so it's not the end of the world. Multi-island improvements. Compass has been added so players can easily navigate. Players participate. I don't really care about multi-island. It's not exactly. It's like, okay, whatever. Maybe it'll make it less annoying to play. I don't know what these changes will end up looking like. I mean, I'm sure I'll go there eventually, but it's not super exciting one way or the other. Alcohol debuffs. Okay. Okay. Refill stuff. Quality upgrade NPCs for upgrading relic gear quality. Yep. Know about that. Know about that. So with the yellow orbs I was talking about earlier that you get, you can upgrade your, once you get relic gear, you can upgrade the quality on it. That is the way. Cooldown time for Sniffer Dog excavating skill. Okay. Okay. Some not very important stuff. We're just gonna use the mouse to remove using mouse. A button has been added to allow player to preview skin chests inventory before making a choice. This is actually pretty awesome. Why we didn't have this earlier, but yes, please. So we can preview stuff rather than just guessing based on the freaking like the tooltip picture or whatever. Vendor items with purchase limits will now be moved to the bottom of the store UI. The available quantity has been exhausted. Okay. It's kind of whatever. Oh. This affects event vendors. I mean, it's still kind of whatever, but interesting. Improved controller support. Okay. For those of you playing controllers, I'm sure it would be happiness. General balance. Okay, we know most of what's going on here. Damage reduction effects are a lot weaker in PvP. It's a big nerf to supports in PvP because supports were, well, overpowered in PvP. So it's trying to bring them back in line. That's seems reasonable. Skill runes, they messed with conviction and judgment. From what I've heard from the Korean server, I don't really know how much of an effect this had. I didn't see anyone like super like doomer end of the world or super excited about this change. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's really too significant. I don't know. just gonna have to test it out on our own to see whether it makes a big difference, but I haven't heard any rumblings. Class balance. Okay. So these are the balances Korea got, so I can kind of summarize. Berserker, let's see. So Mayhem got nerfed a little bit, but they gained the ability to use Anderfen potions, so overall it's probably a buff. Mind you, they're more expensive to play because now you're chugging Anderfen potions in order to deal that extra damage, but you do a lot of damage. Anderfen potion allows you to do a lot of damage. If you're not chugging Anderfen potions, there's a little bit of a nerf. So Berserker's technique got a bit of a buff, and now it's quite good. It's still a bit more expensive. You're chugging awakening potions. It's like requires kind of more game knowledge, because like you have to know when to like safely build and stuff. So it's a little bit harder, but I mean, it's, if you want a different play style, it is viable now. I mean, it was viable before, but it's more competitive now, is a better way of putting it. Gunlancer, the changes weren't huge. Nothing huge on Gunlancer. Gunlancer's great. Gunlancer's still great. Yeah, Paladin. Changes weren't huge. A small buff to Paladins using Judgment for like Chaos Dungeons and stuff. Nothing really notable. War Dancer, they lost crit, but they gained base damage. So in theory, it should kind of balance out. They should balance each other out. Well, okay, talking about Esoteric. First Intention got straight buff, like big time. Esoteric basically lost crit but gained flat damage. So it should even out, but I think people are, I don't play War Dancer, but when War Dancers that I've heard of seem to be still trying to figure out how to like redesign their build and move their stats around, because to move their accessories around to try and figure out how to stat it properly now. Now that they've lost the crit. But it should kind of even out once people figure out like the best way to build it. So we'll see. And if you're playing First Intention, you got a nice chunky buff, so that's nice. Scrapper, they kind of so Scrapper, if you play Scrapper, you know she has a couple of like damage buffs you have to maintenance pretty often. They're like pretty short window damage buffs, but they also have pretty short cooldowns, so you're like constantly maintenance upkeeping these damage buffs and then weaving in your other skills in between them. They basically removed those damage buffs that you have to upkeep and just gave her a bunch of flat damage. So it's a lot less overhead to play now. It's kind of the main parts of these changes. They also gave her Fierce Tiger Strike, like a bunch of extra damage. If you are a user of that ability, which I think both builds often use that ability. Which is one of the yellow skills. So yeah, it should be like smoother to play, less like upkeep. I mean, as shock training, you're still going to be stapled to the ground, afraid for your life all the time. It's still going to be difficult to play. Just one less thing you have to worry about. It's upkeeping these buffs. And for Taijutsu, it's just all gravy. Soul Fist. They changed these Soul Fist traits changes a bit. I think there's like a little bit of a damage buff overall. From when I was talking to Viz, who was like doing math on this. So after they made the changes and reverted the changes to like the way that all the buffs work, I believe he said it's like a little bit of a damage buff. So I believe him. I don't know a lot about Soul Fist. The original changes had them like moving a lot more flat damage and then removing a bunch of like the buffs that you would stack up, similar to what they did to Scrapper. But Soulfists, the feedback from Soulfists in Korea was that they didn't like that and that they weren't a fan, and so they reverted most of those changes. Soulfist got a lot less changes because of that, just a little bit of a damage buff it looks like. Glaver, believe they got a little bit of a damage buff overall. They changed some of the tripods that required you to like hit at a very specific like distance from you, like not too close, not too far. I think they changed some of those tripods to be less to be more forgiving. Yeah, I think they gave a counter to red stance. Yeah, Spiraling Spear is now a counter, which is nice. That's excellent. That's really cool. This is actually like really cool. As someone who plays Glaver, it's annoying and also like screws up like your whole back and forth when you're playing. This is for when you're playing Pinnacle. When you're playing Control, you don't even have red skills, so it doesn't matter. When you're playing Pinnacle, like if you have to counter, like oftentimes you just wouldn't want to, so you just try and like not counter, or you just like if you have to switch to blue without being full on gauge, then you're in like weak blue stance and you have to generate all the way back up to red stance, especially if you're using like increased mass and you have all that negative attack speed. It's just, oh, it's like molasses. It's not great. So being able to have a counter in red stance is quite nice. Spiraling Spear is nice too because it's not one of like the two primary skills that you like the main two skills in red stance. So it'll often be you can often use it like later in the combo because you're more apt to be using the other skills, especially if you're using like a 2-skill build. So it's more likely to be up for the brief time you're in red stance and the counter comes up. I think I'm currently using it as like the 3rd skill, so like after I use it I go into blue stance anyway, so it like I would have like full uptime on the counter. I don't know. This is great. This is real great. Other than that, it looks like some small damage buffs overall. So that's nice. Glaver didn't really need a whole lot, so but getting this counters real good. Striker. Striker didn't get a lot because they feel Striker is quite good, and it is quite good. With the proper relic sets. I think once you get relic sets, it gets a lot of extra damage. So it's quite good once you get those. So it didn't touch a lot for Striker. Deadeye. Yeah, not a whole lot for Deadeye. Yeah, not a whole lot. They bit of a buff to pistolier damage, but for good old shotgun Deadeye, not a whole lot of changes. Pistolier should be happy with this though, but fairly unchanged. Artillerists, they moved around a bunch of the stagger. So they moved, basically the idea is that artillerists should have the same amount of stagger overall, but they spread it out. So rather than having a couple very high stagger abilities, they have many more like medium-ish stagger abilities. The idea was that bosses with retaliation patterns where they like, they like wind up, and if you hit them, they'll like counterattack and do like a big damage thing. Those are based off stagger damage, and a lot of the super high stagger things artillerists had were on the time delayed attacks. So they'd run into a problem where artillerist fires his nuke in the air, and then the boss, while it's in the air, does his like don't hit me move, and then no one can do anything, and the nuke hits him, and the boss is like, hey, you hit me, and he just wallops everybody. So the idea is by spreading it out, it's a lot less likely that you accidentally, nuke the boss into retaliating you. Um, so just spread the stagger out more across the kit, but still leave kind of the same amount of stagger in general, which is nice. It got another counter, a second counter, which is, I mean, decent. I was talking to Viz about this. He plays a bit of Artillerist. He was talking about how you used to have the kind of downside is like you used to have more choices for like the abilities that like filler ability slot, but now that one of those choices has like a counterattack on it, you just kind of want to always take that one. It was kind of the best meter generating one though anyway, and it's kind of like well, you do have a little bit maybe less choices, but I mean getting a second counterattack is just great. And their other counter was, I think it was like the napalm shot, which was not exactly the world's best ability to have a counter on. It's kind of short range. It seems liable to get you freaking goobered if you try to use it as a counter, honestly, after playing some Artillerists myself. So, yeah. So, I mean, that seems great. They also, yeah, they added this thing where you can now spacebar out of turret mode, which is freaking cool, and definitely is like big time buff. So yeah, that's really nice. Oh yeah, and also the freaking in turret mode, that thing where you like put those flak explosions in front of you, that skill now has like super long range. So yeah. PvE, that's nice for like when bosses are flying around all over the place. In PvP though, I've seen it used in PvP and it looks a bit scary. I don't know about that, allowing that to happen in PvP. It's super long range, and I believe it has stagger on it. It has like CC on it, so that could be a bit rough. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But Artillerist is looking good. This is good for the Artillerists for sure. Sharpshooter. Some small buffs. They originally made like a bug fix where I get a bug fix, a change of sorts, maybe not a bug fix, where sharpshooters they used to like spin, do their spinny like a dagger throw thing, and they would generate meter whether or not they hit enemies. And they were thinking about putting in a change where you have to hit enemies to generate meter, but it turns out that just like screws their meter generation a lot, because they would just hit it on cooldown even if they were like far away from the boss doing ranged things, and that was an important part of their meter generation. So they decided to revert that change. Smilegate decided to revert that change because it was kind of a necessary part of sharpshooter's meter generation. So with the reversion of that change, I believe these are generally some small medium buffs. I don't know a lot about this class, sharpshooter, but I think generally it got better with these changes now that they've reverted that change to meter. Gunslinger. They made Catastrophe do a bunch more damage, so you have more rifle skills that do damage, which is a big buff to Time to Hunt. Oh, I mean, Time to Hunt also got an actual buff, but buffing a rifle skill is really nice for Time to Hunt, because that build was really wanted more, because Peacemaker has all those really nice shotgun skills, and so other Time to Hunt needed some help. So this definitely helps. Bullet rain damage got increased too. Again, this helps. I mean, this helps the class overall, but this helps Time to Hunt more, because again, Time to Hunt only has pistol and rifle, whereas you know, the Peacekeeper build has all the power packed into those shotguns. Those really, really nice shotguns that do so much damage. So, yeah, it's definitely good changes for time to hunt. And a little bit of a buff for Peacekeeper build as well, but more so for time to hunt. So if you're a time to hunt player, you should definitely be feeling some good changes. Also, you're probably gonna want to use Catastrophe for damage now. I don't think you used it for damage before. I'm not 100% sure. Haven't really played a lot of Time to Hunt, but I think you definitely use it for damage now, or at least give it a try, because I think it's more worth your time. Bard. They increased her buff durations across the board by like a smidge, which just makes it a little bit more comfortable to upkeep all of her various buffs and stuff. Which is very nice little buff, little quality of life. Sork. Yeah. They nerfed basically they nerfed Igniter Sork. They gave Sork a second counter, which is try them out, see which one you like better. I think the main difference, Ice Shower, is you can put Tenacity on it, so like it allows you to do some riskier counters, I guess. But I think the range is slightly shorter. I don't know. Depending on how much you level it, the range can be shorter or longer. The timing on it's different. I think it's a little bit like more snappy. So I'll just go trading room or wherever, or actually, yeah, I think there's like a counter thing in there. Try them out. But you have another option, so that's cool. Igniter got nerfed by a little bit, which is reasonable. It was pretty much one of the highest damage things in the game. It got a little bit of a nerf, but it's still extremely, extremely good. So it's not dead by any means. It's still in a great spot. Let's see. Sorry, I had to fix something with the stream. Okay. All right. Deathblade. Yeah, so Deathblade, Surge got a couple nerfs. It got a damage nerf, which is fine. Surge was dealing an extreme amount of damage. They wanted to bring it more in line. It still deals a lot of damage, but it's much more even with other builds. So like RE players, or a lot of players were switching from Surge to RE, because Surge doesn't deal that much more damage than RE anymore, but it still requires a lot more effort. So some people want to change for that reason, for investment wise. The real big change to Surge though is the way they changed Orb Refill Generation. So you used to be able to play like a 14 stack build where you go to 14 stacks and you Surge, and then like you'd be able to reasonably get back up to full orbs again. That's not really the case. You generate a lot less orbs. Now you have to go like 16 to 20 stacks maybe. So if you were playing the low stack build where you'd expend on low stacks, you can't do that anymore. You have to go to more stacks. If you're already playing like 20 stack Surge, then your playstyle hasn't changed. You're still doing the same thing. You're still generating the same orbs. You're chilling on the orb generation factor. It does make it so there's a little bit less flexibility, so there's less of a window. Like before, you could go 14. You could also push it later, or like if you're playing like 20 stack and the boss is, you see the boss is like probably gonna do a pattern where he's gonna leave, and you don't know what, you can go a little bit earlier. You can do a little bit but this closes that window, so there's like less of a window of stacks where you can actually reasonably expend, which decreases flexibility and makes it harder to play. So, I mean, I play RE because I like constant damage classes, so it doesn't affect me, but but for Surge, but I've been around enough Surge that, yeah, I mean, this is annoying, but if you like Surge and you enjoy it, it's still going to be great. It's still going to do the same awesome, big, chonky numbers, but it's definitely going to be less. So, yeah. I'd say if you enjoy Surge and, like, it's your jam, just keep playing it. If you're already playing 20 stack Surge, don't worry about it. Just keep playing it. If you were playing 14 stack Surge and you, like, really or only in it for, like, the fact that it was, like, the highest damage class in the game, maybe this is not necessarily for you anymore, but I don't know. It's not a particularly sustainable way to play because they'll always be buffing and nerfing things. So, I mean, it's up to you, but I think this damage nerf definitely pretty warranted. It was doing like a pretty obscene amount of damage. As far as this nerf goes, this is probably not great. Considering, like, for, like, Scrapper and stuff, they, like, removed, like, some of the overhead and some of the, of, like, oh, you have to do all these buffs and you have to set up all this stuff in order to do it. Making a class kind of less, smooth to play, making the window smaller in which they have to do their stuff, more precise is a bit strange, especially when you're already nerfing its damage. It's a bit strange, but I don't know. Surge Blades will survive. They'll be fine. And as an RE blade, I'm chilling. It does affects me literally not at all. But yeah, Surge Blades, I think you'll be fine. It is annoying. I don't know. This is the change that's most a little bit. This stack changes things most kind of eh. I don't think you really need to do that, but not the end of the world, but it's just a little I feel like kind of missed the mark, but it'll be okay. Shadowhunter, they can apply their synergy when they're in demon form now. It's like the big change here. Yeah. Big change that they can apply synergy. They changed some stuff with, like, cooldowns and damage a little bit, but yeah. As Shadowhunter, like, Shadowhunter's my highest level alt. It is kind of annoying that you could, like, very rarely apply your synergy, long cooldown, and then you go into form and you never get to apply it again. With these changes, you should be applying it quite a lot, like almost 100% uptime, honestly. What did they add it to? They added it to, yeah, I think it's probably like, based on the skills they added it to, I'm pretty sure it's like 100% uptime when you're in demon form now. That's actually quite big for your group overall. I mean, it's good for your damage too, but it's quite a big change. That's very, very nice for DI Demon Hunter. For non-DI Demon Hunter, for perfect suppression, sorry, you're a little SOL. They didn't really help you particularly much. Not what it needed. I mean, perfect suppression wasn't popular to begin with, and this definitely didn't help. So it's unfortunate for perfect suppression, but it is. Okay, what bug fixes? Anything important? Oh, secret dungeon maps can be in pet inventory. Okay, whatever. It was a bug some people ran into in my guild, I know, but not that important. Change some stuff with food, calendar stuff. Yeah, just some general bug fixes. Let me see if there's anything important in here. Anything super pressing. Yeah, so overall, I think these balance changes were generally pretty good for most classes. I think the losers, so the nerfs were to Ignition Sork, really to Ignition Shork and Surge Blade. I think the real losers, I think Ignition Shork comes out just fine though. I think the real losers were Surge Blade and DI, not DI, Perfect Suppression Shadowhunter. Even though Perfect Suppression didn't get nerfed, kind of everything around them, like, kind of moving up, and them, like, not really seeing much love kind of hurt them. I think the rebalance on Berserker didn't really touch Mayhem that hard because they got Endorphin potions, so you can use Endorphin potions now, so Mayhem came out actually just fine from its what originally looked like a nerf. And then I think a lot of good buffs for a lot of classes. I think Scrappers will be really happy. Artillerists will be happy too, but Scrappers should be hard chillin'. Yeah, Scrappers should be hard chillin'. I think Berserkers having a second engraving they could go if they wanted to is it's interesting, and it's good for like health of the game. Although I don't think it's like the best, like the play, quote unquote, necessarily, because it's harder to play and it's more expensive to play, and it does fairly similar damage. I think it's nice to have options, so I think that's a good thing. Overall, for the patch overall, it looks good. Getting a lot of stuff, getting new cosmetics, we're getting new events, we're getting lots of content, so looks good to me. Alright, so for those of you on YouTube, I will see you soon. I'm trying to come up with better and more things to upload, but I need to really start brainstorming some stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this patch because it's looking good. We got a lot of actual quality of life that I wasn't expecting. We got a bunch of extra things like auto swapping and with the integrated and stuff like that I wasn't expecting for us to get. So that's really nice. We got a lot of good quality of life, so this should be a good patch. Anyway, I will talk to you two guys later. Have a good day.